So yeah, the much-anticipated Alaska summit finally happened, and like I told you earlier, it ended with no real outcome. There's no ceasefire, no official announcement, no press talks, nothing. It basically wrapped up like it never even happened. So let's break down what actually went down at the summit, why it kind of feels like a win for Putin, and whether the Russia-Ukraine war might be coming to an end soon. Let's get into it. First things first, check out how President Trump welcomed Putin. Dozens of F-22 fighter jets were lined up to show off the U.S. military power, and there's this one video that's going viral online. It shows Trump and Putin walking toward the podium, and then a B-2 bomber flies overhead. Obviously, Trump was trying to flex a bit and show Putin the best of America's weapons, probably as a pressure move. But honestly, I don't think Putin's the kind of guy who gets intimidated by stuff like that. And I was reading online, some people are saying this wasn't the real Putin. They're claiming Russia sent a body double of Vladimir Putin. Now, I don't know how true those rumors are, but yeah, the meeting's over now. Now, in this Trump-Putin meeting, whether or not anything actually came out of it, one thing did happen. Putin stirred up U.S. internal politics big time. He said that this war wouldn't have happened if President Trump had been in office back in 2022. And obviously, that's going to spark a lot of debate in the U.S. because for a long time, Trump has been saying the same thing, that the Russia-Ukraine war would have never happened if he had been president at the time. And now Putin just backed that up. So yeah, that's going to be talked about for a while. Also, there was this moment where Putin looked totally surprised at how the American press asks questions, probably thinking, what is this, welcome to the hood? Just kidding, but seriously, the look on his face said it all. Now, in this meeting, nothing special came out of it. No announcements from President Trump about what they discussed, Russia's demands, Ukraine's stance, nothing. Both leaders didn't even take questions from reporters after the joint news briefing. Trump just said the summit went well, that they have some understanding and agreement, and now it's up to Zelensky to decide whether peace happens or not.
We're pretty close to a deal. Now, look, Ukraine has to agree to it. Maybe they'll say no, because Biden handed out money like it was candy.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, Trump did tell Zelensky that he needs to sign something to make peace happen. So we'll see how that plays out. Also, something interesting to note is that before the summit even started, Sergei Lavrov, Russia's foreign minister, showed up in the U.S. wearing this sweater with CCCP written on it. Now, in Russian, that stands for the USSR, so it's a pretty bold statement. Clearly, the Russians arrived with the mindset of the old Soviet Union. This shows that Russia's not really thinking about peace until they get what they want. Right now, Russia has taken control of 20% of eastern Ukraine, and every day, they're intensifying their efforts to grab more territory. Even with thousands of sanctions and economic pressure from the West, they're still pushing forward with the war. So, I don't think one summit is going to change anything major at this point. So yeah, that's the current situation. Interestingly, as Trump was wrapping up the summit, Putin invited him to Moscow. And this time, he said it in English. Here's a clip. Check it out.
Thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening.
It's worth mentioning because Putin rarely speaks English. The last time I remember him speaking in English was during the FIFA promotion in Russia. So, yeah, this is something new. Now U.S. former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who's always been pretty outspoken against President Trump, even said that if Trump manages to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, she'd nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize. And Trump, of course, reacted in his usual funny way. Check it out.
In fact, did you see that Hillary Clinton yesterday said that if you got this deal done and not capitulate to Putin, that she would nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize?
If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, that was very nice. I may have to start liking her again.
Well, people say love is blind, right? So now, what can we conclude from this summit? Well, it's clear President Trump didn't lose here. I mean, just getting Putin to come to the U.S. and have a summit is a pretty big deal. But as for the main goal of the meeting, ending this war, that wasn't really accomplished. From Russia's side, though, this is definitely a win for Putin. He got a remarkable red carpet welcome to the U.S. and even a ride in the Beast, which is like an extraordinary PR move to rehabilitate his image. Remember, Putin's labeled a war criminal in Europe, and even U.S. former President Joe Biden has called him a murderer. So, this kind of treatment and welcome is making Putin look like the winner of the war, and that's like salt in the wound for Europeans. And then, the second big win for Putin? Time. Both he and Trump seemed like they weren't in a rush, almost suggesting there will be more meetings, and that work on this issue will continue. So, this also kind of shows that there won't be any new tariffs or sanctions, despite President Trump talking for months about severe consequences if Russia didn't agree to end the war. Looks like none of that's going to happen. No new tariffs or sanctions will be implemented on Russia or the countries buying Russian gas and oil products, at least for now. Obviously, Europe's not going to be happy about that. In a post-summit interview, Trump mentioned that he would call Zelensky and European leaders to brief them, and he's holding off on new sanctions for the time being. So yeah, it's a bit of a reverse move from Trump's side. Ukrainian media has also been pretty harsh in their criticism of the Alaska summit, but at this point, there's not much anyone can do about it. I don't think this war is going to end anytime soon. Russia seems ready to stretch this out for several more years. I can see Trump getting increasingly frustrated with the situation, and there's a possibility that, in that frustration, he might take some real aggressive steps. So what do you think about this summit? Do you see it as a win for President Trump or for Vladimir Putin? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.